Boo Boo. Masked men dedicated to fight crime and preserve justice.
Look, Boo Boo, young lady in distress.
Won't somebody help me?
Me first, Rat Pfink.
Go, Boo Boo. I'll park the rat sickle.
Oh, take that, Mr. Crook.
Oh!
Why not fight someone your own size, fella?
Ah! Help me! Won't somebody please help me?
The rat Pfink will. Ape, drop that girl.
You hurt me, you big ape!
Take that, Ape.
Rat Pfink and Boo Boo, the leaders of today, building the leaders of tomorrow.
And I want all you young people to grow up to be good American citizens. Remember, your country needs you.
Rat Pfink, you're the greatest!
Rat Pfink and Boo Boo are coming.
Welcome back, citizens, to an all-new episode of the Batcave podcast. It's your old bat chum, John S. Drew here, and sitting here in the Batcave once again, we're taking a look at some of these movies, these spin-offs, these homages that were created based on the Batman 66 series. And when I say we, I mean independent filmmaker Robert Long and I. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you, John. Hello, citizens.
So this time around, we're taking a look. It's another movie in English. I shouldn't say with. It's not with subtitles. Although maybe it could have used subtitles. It's in English, so you could actually kind of follow the story. But this is another one of these ones that it's like, if you try to follow the story and you actually learn the background of the story, then you're like going, huh? Because this wasn't even supposed to be a Batman parody.
Oh, good. You do know about that.
Oh, I did do
good.
my
That's
reading
good to
up
know,
there.
John.
Oh, yeah. No. I did my reading up that writer, producer, director Ray Dennis Steckler was going for a straight film, like a detective drama, and for some reason switched tracks midway through the film and decided to make a Batman parody.
And we'll get into it, but considering he was going for a straight thriller crime drama, even up to that point, it's really strange.
Yeah.
I mean, the tone just goes all over the place.
It does.
But at that point where, it changes to the Batman parody, from what I heard, he was just tired of doing it and threw his hands up and said, well, what's hot? Oh, Batman is. And and there we go.
And the movie we're talking about is called Pfink A Boo Boo, which my understanding also should have been called Pfink and Boo Boo, but there was a typo on the posters.
I think it was, I'm not sure it was the posters, or I think it was the opening credits didn't have the word and, it just had the word a. I could be mistaken.
But whatever it was, they stuck with it, Pfink A Boo Boo. And of course, I always think of Yogi Bear and Boo Boo when I think of Boo Boo.
Well, I mean, when Pfink appears, he has a combination of a voice of Bullwinkle the Moose and Yogi Bear.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
And his sidekick's named Boo Boo, so it's like, oh, are they trying to tread on this? I mean, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so strange, the whole thing. I mean, and this coming from a guy who some of you may remember, and I never saw the film, but I always remember this title, The Incredible Mixed Up Zombies.
Yes, the incredibly strange creatures that died and became mixed up zombies.
That's the whole title there. Yeah, see, I remember that because I had a friend of mine who was very much into these low-budget B-type movies and such, and he would always talk about this film, but we never got around to watching it. I was more impressed, though, looking over his IMDb, that he was also the director of Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit video.
Steckler was?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because he was also the director of a video for a very young Todd Rundgren, if you know who that gentleman is.
Oh, sure. I know Todd Rundgren. I can say it.
Yeah, boy, yeah. Say it now. Say it 3 times fast. Okay. But, so, I mean, obviously this was a 66 production. Probably he shooting it in the spring and said, the heck with it, halfway through, let's have some fun. So,
right.
without further ado,
well, before we get, I just really quick, I want to point out
Yes.
two of the actors in this because I found their little backgrounds interesting too. Carolyn Brandt, who is our leading lady in this film, she was the wife to Ray Dennis Steckler, and she appeared in many of his movies.
they were married for 10 years, and I think they remained good friends even after they divorced.
Okay. And I think she's still with us.
She is, yes. Ray unfortunately died back in 2009.
Right. And our our actor who's playing the character of Pfink, Ron Haydock, also died young. He died at the age of 37 from a truck accident 2 days before Elvis died.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
That's way too young. I didn't know that he wasn't still with us.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he was an interesting man though because. He's going to, and we'll play some of the music here in the podcast. He sang, several songs in the movie. He was a singer. He was an actor. He was also a writer. He actually wrote his own screenplays, had books and graphic novels published.
Oh my gosh, he's kind of a Renaissance man.
Yeah. Which then begs the question, how did he wind up as Pfink?
Oh boy. I've got a little bit to say about, what's it? Was it Ray or was it Ronnie?
Ronnie Haydock, yes.
Yeah, okay. And in this, he's going as Vin Saxon.
Yes. Yeah, it's
so
weird.
See, there, he's obviously trying to hide the fact that he's in this film.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So let's talk about this one because here's the thing: it starts out as a straightforward detective drama. The movie opens with this woman leaving a nightclub. She's walking down the street alone, and then these two men start coming up after her, one with a heavy chain in his hand. She runs into a dead-end alley where she is surprised by a third man. There, the one with the chain begins to choke her, while another one of them who giggles, and I'm going to call him Giggler after this. They don't really have names, these men.
He does have a name, but in my notes, I put him down as Giggles.
Yeah, see, there you go. I mean, I have to wonder if even then there was something, to the effect of, like, this is our Joker here, even though he's not the leader of our group here, but he giggles throughout the whole movie there as he grabs her purse. And what's interesting is when they leave her behind, we see that she doesn't look dead as she struggles to lift herself up. And then we cut to the credits as she kind of relives the attack. Was that what I was seeing?
A little bit, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got some notes on this cold opening. Number one, what me and John watched, ladies and gentlemen, is a tinted version of this movie.
Yes.
In other words, it was shot in black and white, and throughout it, for like the night scenes, it's going to be tinted with a blue. Daylight is like kind of a tan or beige, and then I think they even work in like a little bit of a red tint here and there. But I really enjoyed the photography of this opening shot. I mean, you got the moon, you got some shots of 1966 L.A., and I don't know if you noticed it or not, but there was a really cool neon Schwinn bike sign going on.
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what caught my eye. And I mean, like you said, this woman, she's leaving, I guess, a nightclub or something. I didn't know if she was a streetwalker or a barmaid or what. It wasn't made clear to me.
It wasn't made clear, but if I remember correctly, IMDb lists her as like a streetwalker, prostitute, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, yeah, so, and we do meet our three heavies that attack her in the parking lot, and the one guy with a hammer is played by Mike Cannon, and his name is Hammer. James Bowie, who, as we called him, was Giggles, his name is actually Banjo.
Oh.
In the movie.
Okay.
Well, he probably plays with himself. I can already hear it, John. And I believe George Caldwell plays Link, the guy with the chain.
He's okay, and Link, the chain links there. God.
Yeah, so the Mod Squad, Banjo, Hammer, and Link.
There was that little part of me, because when you then see, like, after the credits, I almost wonder if he shot that cold opening after the movie was made or while the movie was, like, it was almost an afterthought, because we never see the woman again, but it does sort of establish, like you say, our three bad guys.
It does, but I definitely think this was through the straight drama. And the reason I say that is that even up to that point that we'll get to far on, and he's shooting the straight drama, the tone flip-flops like a pancake throughout the entire thing. So I do think that beginning was part of the more serious side of it, and she was just like, she was like just another victim, as we'll get to, when they're like, hey, we got to find something to do.
Right. Yeah.
There's the credits that look like they were done with Letraset or fridge magnets.
Yeah. Yeah,
but then it's a bright, shiny day next.
It's a bright, shiny day, and we get this narrator who explains that Lonnie Lord, who is our main character here, played by Ron Haydock.
This is Lonnie Lord. Lonnie is a rock and roll singer. Last year, he sold 10 million records. His fans are legion. Lonnie lives in Hollywood, the entertainment capital of the world. It's his town. Everywhere he goes, he carries his guitar with him, because he never knows when he'll be called upon to sing.
This is the other thing, too. Then you get this, and it's like, okay, was that part written in after they decided to go with the Batman parody? Because this doesn't seem so dark and gritty. We basically get a music video then as he's singing Running Wild, the first of 4 songs he sings in the movie. And in the video, he's running with his girlfriend, CB.
Lonnie will sing a song anytime, anywhere. Lonnie likes to sing.
Come over here, baby, I want to talk to you. I'm hip to your game, I'm nobody's fool. You're running wild, you're running wild, it's not easy to see you've been cheating on me. You're running wild. You told me that you loved me when I gave you my ring, but I can see that the truth is it didn't mean a thing. You're running wild, you're running wild, it's obvious to see you've been cheating on me. You're running wild. The Captain J, the two of you are necking in this new Stingray. You're running wild, you're running wild. It's obvious to see you've been cheating on me. You're running wild, and bite you. If you don't stop your cheating, then the two of us are through. You're running wild, you're running wild, wild. It's time for you to see you've been cheating on me. You're running wild, It's time for you to see you've been cheating on me. Better stop, you're running wild.
Yeah, it's like a bad takeoff on Hard Day's Night with the Beatles. And I mean, we see, I guess the the RC. What is that record tower that's in Los Angeles? I forget what the name of it is, but it looks like a platter of records. The building does.
Not
that's
RCA.
in the shot, and
Not RCA.
no, I'm trying to think what it is. I can't think of it.
Okay.
Anyways, somebody in our audience will tell us and go,
Right.
"Hey, you dummy! It was this building." But yeah, I mean, he's just showing up. He's walking around with his guitar, and he's signing autographs for adoring housewives.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure that they were like late teens, early 20s, but there's just something about the 60s where everybody looks old. So
That's true. I
And,
can't
yeah,
deny that.
yeah, so he's, and like you said, he immediately goes into a music video, and danged if he isn't playing music that sounds like 6 years too late.
Well, maybe he's trying to bring it back through the movie.
Well, maybe. I mean, with the pompadour haircut that he's got, and he's wearing these V sweaters and stuff, he sounds like Jerry Lee Lewis from about 1961. I'm like, wait a minute. The British invasion happened like 4 years ago. What's going on here?
Yeah. We see the two of them driving up the hills of Hollywood, then to a jaunty background tune, and he drops CB off with a steamy kiss as they growl at each other. It's like,
They're growling and barking. It's like, what?
yeah, this is getting off to a good start. Let me tell you.
Yes, gritty crime drama, folks. Gritty crime drama.
Mm-hmm.
I did like his Thunderbird, though. What a nice car.
Very nice car. Very nice car. Now, mind you, what follows next, at least certainly, I think, falls somewhat under the whole noir thing and such. Because remember, this is also a movie in black and white. We see someone dropping off phone books at an apartment complex, and he drops one off at the apartment of the guys who attacked our woman at the beginning of the movie. We see that Giggles is our man. What was his name again? Banjo. Banjo is all
Banjo,
anxious.
yeah.
He wants to go out and get some more money and have some fun. So they decide to pick a name at random in the phone book, and it turns out to be CB.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, this is the straight noir thing, because you're not really seeing the guy's faces too much. You're seeing them with the length of the length of chain and the hammer hitting the side of the wall and stuff, and them just kicking open the phone book and just picking a number at random.
Right. And of course, this gives us a chance to see CB in the bathtub. We don't get any full-fledged nudity, but she is very attractive, this woman.
Coming. Hello?
Is this C.B. Beaumont?
Yes, this is she. Who's calling?
I want C.B. Beaumont.
Well, you are talking to her. But who are you?
What I think is interesting is because she's taking the bath and the phone rings, she gets out of the tub, drapes the towel around her and everything, takes the call, and the call is very strange because she doesn't seem to think anything of the creepy voice asking if it's her. In fact, she almost like plays along and then, takes a second call, which is like confirming, oh, you are CB, right?
Hello?
Are you C.B. Beaumont?
Yes, I am. And who are you, and why did you hang up on me before?
I must talk to C.B. Beaumont.
Well, you are talking to her. Who? Oh.
C.B. Bowman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, maybe they didn't have obscene phone calls back then.
Yeah. Maybe, but she seemed to almost be like I wondered if she even thought it was our hunk, what's his name, Lonnie.
Yeah, this is a little game they play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was a little unsettling, and I mean, it's shot really well. I mean, with the stark shadows and the lighting and stuff, and
no, absolutely,
and it is a little unnerving.
But the thing is with this movie is that there's just a lot of odd moments. You stop, and while you say, visually, it's appealing, you still have to question what were they thinking? What was Steckler thinking in doing this scene and having her act this way? And then the following scene that happens because she then gets dressed, steps outside, speaks with Titus, this kind of slow, I'm going to use the word slow, guy. He works in the building. I mean, he's like the custodian of sorts. And he was supposed to pick up her car for her. And since he didn't, he was supposed to get it from the shop, she has to walk to the store rather than take the station wagon he offers her. Now, I got to say, even before we get to the scene itself and talk about it, that's some outfit on her. It really does scream 60s Hollywood. I mean, the dark blouse, the tight, light pants. I mean, were those Lycra pants?
I don't know if they were Lycra. Weren't they silverish or metallic?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like metal flake or something.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if they ever say what CB does for a living. I'm guessing she's an actress, but I believe that's supposed to be her entire house, that big thing there.
Yes.
And Titus is like her handyman.
Okay.
So I can guarantee you they weren't shooting at Ray's place. I think we get to see Ray's backyard in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So they've called in a favor from somebody.
Now, this next bit, though, as she's walking to the store, I'm like, what the hell? Because it goes on way too long. Our Link is following after her at a distance. He's got his chain with him. You keep thinking at any moment something's going to happen, but she makes it to the store, and nobody who's walking around notices this guy with his chain that he's just hanging around. He waits until she comes out with her packages, and then he walks off.
No, number one, that actor reminded me of somebody, and I can't put my finger on it. He just looks like one of those actors you think you should know. And yeah, he's walking with his white capri pants and his nice white tennis shoes, and looking very 60s Hollywood, and wrapping the chain around a pole and playing on it while she goes in the store. I don't know what the hell's going on there. And yes, lo and behold, she made it back okay.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just so weird and so long, and it takes up a good, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes.
I'm not sure it took up that much, but considering that this movie's only 67 minutes long,
yes,
he must have needed the padding like something fierce.
Yeah. And
there's an extended chase scene later that just has padding rubber stamped all over it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So then do we cut to that evening?
We cut to that evening. She's back at her place, and she's awakened from her bed by the sounds of...
What do you want with me?
Look out the door, C.B. Beaumont. Look out the door.
And there's Banjo So she quickly calls the police as he's trying to break in. And this is where it gets really weird, though, because then we cut to Lonnie singing, and it's a cut. And it's like, you is a rat, Pfink. He's singing at this party.
Baby, I've been doing some thinking. Somebody harder thinking about you. And it seems to me you love no matter what you've been doing. It's playing me for so cool. I got the word for you because it's what you is. You is a rat, Pfink. You is a rat, Pfink. If I had a nickel for every time you've let me down, you know beyond the shadow of a doubt, I'd be the wealthiest man in town. I've got my name for you because it's what you is. You is a rat, Pfink. You is a rat, Pfink. Guitar player's a rat, Pfink. Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't you think I know what you've been doing to me, baby? That you dating all the guys are not true. So how can you say that you will love me then? How can you ever be so cruel? I've got the word for you because it's what you is. You is a rat, Pfink. You is a rat, Pfink. Piano player's a rat, Pfink. Yeah, 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 yeah. My arms, they are still in need. You, I must be nuts. I still love you. I've got the word for you because it's what you is. You is a rat, Pfink. You is a rat.
I was confused because it looked like CB was there at the party. Things are moving really fast. So then I'm asking myself, is this a music video? Is this the party? Or what at first? And then we do see it as a party later. But then I asked the question, what happened to CB that night? Did Giggles, just run away?
Yeah, he does leave. Yeah, we see him, after he's done strumming himself, he does leave the window. And then it is quite the switch from this gritty thing to this. I mean, they got the jolly, chubby cook dancing along with the music, and CB's there, and she's acting like she doesn't have a care in the world.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
and
if she's trying to avoid it, she doesn't get to for long because she gets a call at the house there at the party from one of the creeps, and it freaks her out that she runs off with Lonnie following, and she gets in her car and drives off.
Did you notice the face that Lonnie made as it's like ACB phone call, and he just looks at her like he's disgusted or something.
Yeah.
It had this really weird face on him. It's
right.
So.
Well, maybe it had something to do with and see, this is the things like that. You see that maybe there was a scene or a line or something where it's like you're mad at her for getting a phone call at the party or something,
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, you're interrupting my song about Rat Pfink.
Yes. The song had nothing to do with Rat Pfink, like his character. Apparently.
Now, are you familiar with Rat Pfink? I mean, I did a little checking up on that today.
No, I don't know.
Well, there was a car customizer back in the day by the name of Ed Big Daddy Roth, and he had come up with a cartoon character logo called Rat Pfink that became really big on the West Coast.
Okay. And
so that's where that came from.
I'm sorry, I thought there was more to it that
No, not really. I mean, obviously, Steckler probably just really liked, this character. What it is like a really bad representation of Mickey Mouse. It's a rat.
Right.
In like the red pull-ups that Mickey wears, but it's got a big RF on it.
Right. Okay.
The Rat Pfink.
All right.
It's hideous looking. You'll see it and you'll go, ugh.
Okay.
But that's, maybe that's where he got the name from or whatever. But yeah, somebody jumps in the pool fully clothed. Lonnie looks disgustingly at CB as she picks up the phone and, I want CB Beaumont.
Yeah.
And she loses it.
Yeah, she does. She races back to her apartment where she's, and I'm forgetting his name already, our man with the hammer?
Hammer. Yeah.
Oh, Hammer. That's it. Okay. Our man with the hammer. She's confronted by him in the apartment. She runs off, and there's Titus. He sees Hammer. He tries to sort of intervene, but he's struck with the hammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
He gets hammer time. CB then is stopped from leaving by
Banjo. They grab her and take her in the truck, and Link then tells Titus that they will call Lonnie in an hour as they drive off with her. I guess if I remember correctly, he's still lying in the grass there, sort of just, aching from his hammering.
He did get decked right in the head with a hammer. So I'm sure that, and then he had a lot of fun rolling down the hill.
Yeah.
I mean, that looked like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, Titus. Oh boy. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, what you have to understand is that Titus, he was probably in his mid to late 20s, but he looks like he's about 36.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to end up being the teen sidekick, and it's just so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
So, and I don't know if anybody noticed this, but everybody must have no peripheral vision because, CB's running away from Lonnie's place and Link's just outside waving the chain around. Nobody's noticing him.
No, but they didn't notice him before when he was walking after and then standing around the supermarket.
Hey, he hid it behind that tree, okay? That one tree. Anyways, I think at this point, Lonnie finally catches up to CB's house.
Oh, well, before we do that, we've also got a scene in the truck where clearly Hammer is up to no good with CB. Link smacks her and tells her to relax. Yeah.
That's right.
And then they pull up to the apartment, and oddly, Hammer has this really weird line because he calls her a dumb blonde.
Yeah, maybe I tried to block that scene out because it's a little creepy. I mean, they get kind of handsy, and as you said, Link smacks her one.
Yeah.
And dumb blonde. I mean, one thing we need to keep in mind is I think this entire movie was ADR'd.
Oh, it definitely was, and not very well.
No. I mean, this is just a couple of notches above Godzilla.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, the whole thing was ADR'd. I don't think there was anything that, the original audio, if there was even original audio, kept.
And I'm sure back in the day that must have been fun trying to get the timing right by playing it back and recording into I don't even want to think about that. But yeah, so they're not on their way to aren't they heading towards the backyard at that point?
Are you talking about our three guys
the
with
bad
CB?
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our three,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're holding her in somebody's backyard.
Yeah. Well, because they stopped that by there so that Giggles can go and make the call. He goes to a nearby payphone.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And plus we have to see the little bird cage in the backyard. I mean, that was important. Yeah. $50,000 by tonight, man. By tonight.
By tonight. But wait a minute, you're missing Lonnie's next song before Giggles calls.
That's right.
He sings.
He's singing before he gets the phone call.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, padding time once again.
Oh, a lot. Now, this is the Leslie Gore portion of the movie, if you want to look at it, where it's like you're singing a song that serves no purpose in the midst of all this drama, like Leslie Gore when she sang for the Three Cats, and Julie Newmar just kind of throws up her hands and goes, "I'm not listening," and leaves. I love that.
Yeah.
I just loved that. And he sings, "I Stand Alone."
I left with you. I cried with misery. I stand alone. I stand alone.
While Titus nurses his
Yeah.
head with this ice and he's got a huge amount of ice that he's using for his sore head.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. I mean, you got this ballad going on that's obviously from Ronnie's one of his records or whatever, and you have this 80-yard ice sound going as he just keeps picking up dozens of ice cubes to put in a rag and hit against the side of his head.
Yeah. Yep.
And this goes on for what, 45, 50 minutes?
where they get the call, like you said, and Banjo there demands 50 grand by the end of the day. So, with all this happening, there's only one thing they can do.
We've got ourselves a little problem.
What are we going to do, Lonnie? They've got CB and you can't get the money by tonight. What are we going to do?
Titus, there's only one thing we can do. This is a job for and who.
And they're doing this at CB's house.
Yes. This then suggests that they've done this before. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't the first. I mean, we, the audience, are being introduced to them.
I was just going to do that.
You're standing on my foot, Titus.
And who's standing on mine? I'm doing my best to get ready.
The door seems to be stuck, Titus.
Oh, sorry.
Have you locked this in again? Help me, Titus.
Wait, I'm charging my battery.
Rat Pfink and Boo Boo, friends to those who have no friends, enemies of those who make them an enemy, champions of women and children everywhere. Rat Pfink, mysterious masked nemesis of hoodlums and racketeers the world over, and Boo Boo, by day, a mild-mannered gardener, by night, the scourge of the underworld. Rat Pfink and Boo Boo, together they blaze a four-fisted campaign against the enemies of truth, justice, and the American way of life.
They've played these characters before. They've been in costume before because they're like, and off they go into the CB's closet. And it's like, where did the clothes come from? How did this all happen? But first we got to get out of the closet because they got locked in.
Oh, God. So they're changing in the closet into Rat Pfink and Boo Boo, and we get some really inane dialogue, like, you're standing on my foot,
yes.
Titus. Oh, well, then who's standing on mine?
Oh, my God.
I'm charging up my batteries.
Yes. Well, he's charging because his hat, Boo Boo's hat, lights up, and I did like that, the tips of it.
Oh, no, just the standalone shot of it with him doing nothing, but it's blinking. I'm like, what the hell? The door opens, and out comes Rat Pfink and Boo Boo.
Yes.
Go ahead, John. I'll describe one. You describe the other. You go first.
Oh, that's the one thing I couldn't do. I tried to sit there and, come up with how to describe this costume. And the only thing I can come close to is I remember The Greatest American Hero when he said, the only difference between me and most normal people is I'm wearing my underwear on the outside. Because it's so awful. But at the same time, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I love how, and I got to question this because I'm not sure. Fink changes his voice for this. He has a deeper, more heroic tone that he puts on.
Remember, Boo Boo, we only have one weakness.
What's that, Fink?
Bullets. Now let's go to fight crime.
And I had to wonder, is that even Ron doing that voice, or is that somebody else?
I think it could be, because we can all do voices, and maybe that was him having fun.
Maybe.
But geez, he did sound a lot like this then, doesn't he, Rocky? But so, ladies and gentlemen, picture in your mind. Okay, this is what Fink looks like. Number one, he's wearing his gym sweatsuit with his black swimming trunks pulled up over it. He's got an Archie from Riverdale R on his chest, a black cape, black boots, and apparently he's wearing the mask from a bank robber.
Yeah. Maybe that was a souvenir.
Yeah. It's like, I don't have a mask. Now I do. Because he's wearing a ski mask with a pom-pom on top. So that's Fink.
Yep.
Boo Boo, on the other hand, okay. Yeah. He's got this double-breasted buttoned shirt on that he probably stole from Mike Nesmith of the Monkees. It's got a big B on it. He's wearing tiger-striped shorts, tiger-striped elven booties, knee pads, white knee pads, and then a mask that's got a tiger-striped jester's hat on top of it,
right?
That has two blinking lights in the tips. What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously raided Phyllis Diller's closet for that costume.
I love the blinking lights, though. I did get that stood out to me. That was the only thing that, I was like, okay, that's cute.
Well, that showed effort. And yeah. I give them credit for that. I'm like, oh my God, they actually went to the trouble to put lights in the end of this thing. And he looks so wrong as the sidekick because he looks like a 36-year-old man dressed for a fetish party.
Oh, man. I did like, though, they have a rat cycle.
Yes, they have a BMW motorcycle with a sidecar.
Yep.
What happens when you start it, John?
Oh, is that it makes the flushing sound of the toilet, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets a swirly going on, and then it can take off.
Yep.
And they're heading towards the pickup point. This is the point where they're heading towards the pickup point where they're going to drop off the money.
Right.
In this black briefcase.
Right. But hang on.
Oh,
how they ride in the rat cycle is also interesting because Boo Boo does the driving and Rat Fink is in the sidecar standing up posing heroically.
I was just going to say this guy is a moron. He's standing straight up. I don't know how fast they're going. I don't know if they're under-cranking the camera. But I'm like, you could get killed, dude. Yeah, so, yeah, just... So, yeah, I mean, he's just posing like your normal, typical hero, standing in a sidecar where he could tip over at any moment and break his leg.
Right.
But,
yep.
and we get lots of, close-up shots of, their faces and stuff. Like, why do I need to see Boo Boo as he's driving from the side? Am I doing this right? Is this right?
Because he can. Because you can. Okay, I mean, because he's the director and he can. And who knows? Like you said, at some point he was done. He was done and he just wanted to get this film done. I would love to look at the original script to see just what the detective drama all panned out as, that we had to go to this point here. And it gets even crazier as we go along.
That's true. Oh, I have to, ladies and gentlemen, I should back up just a couple minutes here. We had hit that point when they went into the closet. That's when Ray Dennis Steckler threw up his hands and said, "Screw it, let's make a Batman parody." That was the point. That the entire tone of this thing goes completely off the rails.
Yep.
And my guess would be is that it still had the same story, but it was Lonnie and Titus as themselves trying to take on the gang.
Yeah, I would imagine that, but I just don't get where, like, well, like I say, you got the scene with Banjo picking up the money that was dropped off. He finds the suitcase in this dumpster, so he climbs into it to get it and is trapped as the lid comes down. And you'd think, okay, they're going to come over. But no, this passerby comes by, lets Banjo out, who takes off in the truck. So, Rat Pfink and Boo Boo chase after him. The passerby is freaked out by the sight of the two of them, so he jumps into the dumpster, closing the lid behind him. It's like almost like a Looney Tunes or a Benny Hill show bit.
Oh, it so is. I mean, he goes to the dumpster, and the actor playing Banjo isn't even trying for anything serious anymore. I mean, he's completely goofball.
Oh, yeah.
And, he climbs in, he's like, "Hey, get me out of here. I'm going to get angry." And behind this fence, we get the slide whistle sound of Rat Pfink and Boo Boo peeking their head up to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And the Marlboro Man, as you said, comes out. Lets him out.
With his
and
hat.
He's like, "Oh, yeah," and he's smoking. It's got to be the Marlboro Man.
Yeah.
And, he lets out Banjo. He's like, "Thanks, bye." And then he sees these two Nimrods in their underwear. And it's like, man, what did they put in the cigarette? And then they're just running after the pickup truck. How far away did they park the Pfink mobile?
I know. That's where we get the line where he says, "Hi ho, boo boo," though, when they get to it and take off once again with another flush.
Right. Hi ho, boo boo.
Oh. So Banjo and the others get back to the apartment where they, open the suitcase to see their loot, and they find that it's filled with comic books, including issues of Batman.
Now, did it have an issue of Batman in
I
it?
saw an issue. Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I noticed Monster World, which had a photo of the Munsters on it.
No, there was a Batman. I think it was straight Batman, not detective.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I'll do a screen grab just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly these days. You'd have them going, well, you got to pay us to show that on screen.
Yep.
But, yeah, so they're all ticked off, and they're smacking Banjo left and right. And, of course, Rat Pfink and Boo Boo have snuck up to the bird's cage to kind of sneak and see and take a look at this.
Right.
I didn't get that where he goes, "Hello, Walter. What the hell was that?"
I have no idea. No clue. I don't know if that was an inside joke or a reference you were supposed to get of the time, but yeah.
Yeah, he's talking to a bird in a huge bird cage or habitat, and it's like, "Hello," and it's like, okay, it's beyond me.
Yeah.
And is this where we get our real high production bat fight?
Well, our rat fight.
Now, Boo Boo, fight live! Prepare to meet the rat.
Smack him for me!
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Pardon my tongue. What am I talking about? Complete with, complete with words popping out of the air. And wait a minute. No, that might have been a good thing to do, even if they cheaped it up by just having words along the bottom or something that were like cardboard, things or something, just to add to it. Because this thing goes on a while. And while the two appear to be doing well, we see that Boo Boo isn't a very good fighter. Oh, no. Boo Boo sucks. Boo Boo definitely made a boo-boo. And, yeah, we've got this fight going on. And I swear that the guy playing Link is still taking this movie seriously. He could be. He may not have gotten the memo. Yeah, I guess not, because, Hammer, he gets hammered,
Right.
And he's just shaking his head and whoa, he keeps falling on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the scene between Banjo and Boo Boo. As stupid as it was, I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hammer actually gets, because he's the one that sort of, when it's all said and done and they try to escape, Hammer's caught, because we also see that Pfink has sort of a utility belt because he pulls out a pair of handcuffs.
Yeah. I mean, they
I liked it.
Yeah, great. Well, I mean, it's great handcuffs, but, he's got these huge medieval handcuffs.
Right.
And he's handcuffing him around this railing that Hammer could kick out of its foundation in 2 seconds.
Right.
And I mean, this is going on, and Link and Banjo have grabbed CB once again and taken her off in the truck. And this is, of course, after the whole whatever the hell happened with Boo Boo and his watch and Banjo fixing it and then beating the hell out of him.
So they go off.
Hurry, Boo Boo, they're getting away with CB. Crime is afoot.
And I gotta ask, because then they follow them into what looks pretty clearly to me, that's Bronson Canyon, isn't it?
Well, a lot of this was shot in Bronson Canyon, but to be honest, it was shot all over the place in Southern California, around L.A.
Okay, because it looks to me at one point like they actually do pass the actual entrance to the Batcave.
I'm not sure they could have afforded that unless he just snuck in. Which I wouldn't put it past him.
Right.
But they're definitely up on the same roads as Griffith Park, which is where Bronson Canyon is.
Okay.
So it's all very familiar there.
Right.
And this is where we get a ton of padding, ladies and gentlemen. The idiot Rat Fink is not standing straight up anymore. He's now hunched over in the little sidecar. Maybe he fell out between scenes and said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that again."
Yes. Yeah, there's some weird, like you say, it's drawn out, the whole chase, and padded because, at one point they stop at a stop sign because...
Always look both ways before crossing a street.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what stop signs are for. They pause at one point in the pursuit to sort of figure out how deep a pool of water is before them, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. I mean, your first one there, the stop sign. Obviously, the crooks in the pickup truck, they're just barreling through.
Right.
And this was about the only time we really got kind of a Batman reference. When he's like, always remember to look both ways before you go through a stop sign, Boo Boo.
Yep.
They see this huge puddle, and I thought it was funny because he wraps his cape around him so it doesn't get wet, and then you see him shaking it out afterwards.
It's funny because you said that this was all done ADR, and it reminds me of, I don't know if you're familiar with the amateur films of Donald Glut.
Oh yeah, no, I've got the blue DVD of his movies.
Yes, yep. So do I. And all of his films, they're ADR. Because I'm sure his camera didn't have sound. So.
Right.
But it kind of reminded me of that.
I was just going to say, Don knew these people.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he was part of that whole underground kind of filmmaking thing back then.
His films were better.
His films were a lot better.
Yeah.
But I'm going to save it for the end, but I will say so far this has been very unique.
Yes, that's one way of looking at it, and it's about to get even more unique.
Oh, yes. So they're still, they actually broke through a fence, which I'm sure must have cost them $5 to break through that chain.
Yep.
So they went over budget. And then the pickup truck gets stuck in a little muddy path.
Yes.
We're stuck. Here they come. Let's make it, man.
Yes, it does. So they have to race off on foot with Pfink and Boo Boo. I know, I'm like Pfink and Boo Boo chasing after them, and this gets weird. It's like he chose to slow down the film a little for a moment before Pfink screams "Justice prevails" and another rat fight breaks out.
The rat fight.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I didn't really notice if it had slowed down or not.
It's almost like a halftime thing. It seemed to do, slowing down by half. It was weird. It was very weird, but it was very short. In particular, there's like one scene where the two of them dragging CB across. You know, that was done in a slight slow motion.
You know, that could have just simply have been a mistake of the camera.
Could have been.
They didn't do a take two.
Yeah. Could have been.
You know, like it lost speed for like that millisecond or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because those were all wind-up cameras back then.
Mm-hmm.
Justice prevails! Wow! Now for more. The wrestling deals mighty blows. You hurt me.
So you could just imagine the spring goes, oh, screw you, boing. Yeah, and I can't remember. I mean, yeah, I guess there is a rat fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's just not the same without the words.
No, it isn't.
I mean, how many times can you hear "fight crime"?
Yeah. And as you say, this is unique. It even gets more unique because then we cut to this man.
Kogar, now you just come back here. Kogar!
Just wandering around the area looking for, he's calling out to Kolgar, his animal. At first we don't know what Kolgar is. All we know is that it must be big because he's got this long chain leash. And then we see Kolgar, he's an ape, and he approaches CB grabbing her as she swoons in his arms.
Yes.
God.
Yeah, his owner, trainer, whatever, the guy in the bowler hat.
Yes.
I mean, okay, yeah. Yeah, and CB's been watching from the sidelines this whole fight, and she's like pantomiming, like, oh, hit him for me. And Kogar's right behind her, pantomiming her.
Yep.
And she, of course, gets a spot of Kogar, and it's like, swoon. And I do have a piece of trivia. I mean, the guy that's playing Kogar is Bob Burns, who is a gorilla person out in Hollywood, very famous.
Oh, yeah, he was Tracy the Ape in the Ghostbusters TV show in '75.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I can guarantee you almost any time they needed a comical ape back in the sitcoms of the 60s or whatever, it was probably Bob.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Donald Glutt, he appeared in his fan film Captain America and the Mutants 2 years previously in 1964.
Bob appeared in several of Don's amateur movies, including as a gorilla in the Superman one.
Oh, yeah, I do seem to remember seeing that one, too. Yep.
Will you tell your girl to bring back my gorilla?
What?
CB, Boo Boo, stay here.
He played the Metaluna mutant in one. He played Captain America in another one when he was up against Spirit or something like that. It was the early 60s one.
Right.
And then, of course, he played Kogar the gorilla in the Superman film he did as a student film, and I think he got an F. Years later, here he is working on Shazam and writing the novelization of Empire Strikes Back. So who won then?
Yeah.
Save me, Ratman! Save me! Put me down! Won't somebody save me?
So, of course, Pfink has this really unique way of dealing with this situation. He challenges the ape by pounding his chest and dancing about it with it before it decks Pfink. But the ape is able to be captured and taken away.
Now, Kogar, quit playing around. Hit the man, Kogar. That's naughty running away like that.
As Rat Fink reveals himself to CB as Lonnie.
Lonnie, it's you. My superhero.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shucks, my hero. And we have the weirdest kissing scene I've seen in quite a while.
The weirdest kissing scene, the weirdest kissing sounds. The ADR on that is way overdone.
I don't. You just get the feeling that somebody is up to the mic kissing their forearm in a really weird way.
Yeah. It's
and then just don't is that where we hit the parade then?
And then this is again unique. I didn't realize this whole thing. I mean, and I'm certain that it's not in Rat Fink's honor, but I'm guessing this. There is this parade, because my question is it the Christmas parade? Because I could swear I saw some Christmas decorations in the background, or maybe it was part of stock footage because they didn't want to show a whole parade. But there are wide shots of Rat Fink and Boo Boo on the motorcycle going down the street, or the car. Or were they in a car, or were they in the motorcycle? I forget.
No, they were in the motorcycle with CB.
With CB.
And from what I've heard, and there's a couple of different things going around. Number one, I could swear that was downtown Burbank because I used to live out there.
Okay.
And just it kind of looks like the one strip for downtown Burbank.
Right.
Number two, from what I've heard, they snuck themselves into that parade.
Okay.
To get the shots.
That makes sense.
So basically, they crashed the parade.
Right. But of course, Hollywood being Hollywood, everybody else is just on the sides cheering and everything. And we even see that the fans love Boo Boo as much as they do Rat Fink.
Well, what it makes you wonder is that when they're seeing the audience reaction, the crowd's reaction, maybe they were dressed as Batman and Robin. Because that would get cheers.
My hero. I love you.
Yeah, so, hey, we're in the final stretch, John.
We're in the final
real
stretch.
Close.
Because you know what? We can't end this movie unless we get one more new musical number. Go party.
Rat Fink and Boo Boo, the leaders of today, building the leaders of tomorrow. Relentless in their war against the forces of oppression and tyranny. Dedicated defenders of truth, justice, and the freedom-loving peoples of the world. Builders of better bodies, 8 ways.
It's the big boss, a go-go party. It's the
This old jalopy don't run out of steam, but we're gonna make of that a go-go scene. 6 girls sitting in the back seat, 6 guys hanging out the rear. If you're tall and thin, we can squeeze you in, then we'll all split for the short. The go-go party, hey, go chicks. A go-go party is strictly for kicks. A time for romancing, I'll hold you tight. At the big boss go-go party tonight. Hear the radio blasting, listen to the Beatles shout. Just hope we can reach as fast as our beach before this car comes out. Go-go party, hey, go chicks. A go-go party is strictly for kids. A gentle romancing, I'll hold you high. At the big boss go-go party tonight.
Go party. Yeah, so it's them in, I think it's a convertible, and Titus is definitely the third wheel.
Yes.
So, in his Bing Crosby hat. They go to the beach, folks. They pull over and they go to the beach. We get Kogar and his trainer are there. We get some hot babe in a bikini with two guys checking her out.
Right.
I think the Marlboro man's there.
All you got to spend this time, come on in. The water's fine. Fine with me to Surfville. Come on, let's hit the tide. Who cares if I spill? There's a lot of thrills when you put the baby by your side.
Well, they bring them all in, and they also then put together a montage of all the good times in the film, starting with the robbery of the woman.
Yeah, that was a feel-good moment.
Right.
Look, we're strangling her. Oh, that was a great time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Good times, good times.
Good, yeah, good.
Go party, you'll get your chance. Go party, it's strictly for kids. Well, another romance, I'll hold you tight. That's a bigger boss. Go party tonight. You better come on, it's a bigger boss. Go party tonight.
Oh, and somebody's reading a Pfink and Boo Boo comic book.
Yes, and that actually has the right name on it.
Well, that actually looked like it was professionally done, so it's like, okay, there goes the budget again.
Yeah. Which then makes you wonder who still got the comic. Even if all it is the cover.
Yeah, I'm sure it was probably in Ray Dennis Steckler's possession before he died.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I had this produced. I'm gonna hang on to it. So.
Now, here's the thing. I do actually have one note here. No, it wasn't IMDb that tipped me off that this woman was the woman at the beginning was a prostitute. It was the end, because the credits, she gets credit for her role, and she's listed as Irma the Streetwalker.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. So, and I didn't know that, so I actually guessed correctly.
Yeah.
So, I guess, I mean, there's stereotypes and there's cliches in this movie, and it's like, okay, have this certain look.
Right.
That's the end, folks. 67 minutes.
67 minutes. And we managed to fly through it pretty quickly because there isn't much to it. And yet, here's the thing, because you said you were waiting till the end to hear this. I'd watch it again because it's goofy fun. It's so silly. And to me, it's one of these things, it's almost like watching this movie. Steckler just turned around at one point and said, I want to make a movie. And they went, okay. And then he said, what is it about? And he goes, it's about a crime drama. And then halfway through it, he got bored and said, I want to play Batman. It's almost like kids pretending, and suddenly you're doing, we're playing cops and robbers. And in the middle of the cops and robbers, some kid jumps in and goes, I'm Superman. They go, there's no Superman in cops and robbers. That it just feels like that. And I can't help it, for as dumb as it is, it's still got some moments with like I said, some of the dialogue is funny. I have no use for Titus, but I think Ratfink with his glowing tips is funny.
I mean, yeah, Titus. Oh God. But no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, because let's face it, they're playing cowboys, Indians, cops, and robbers, and villains and heroes in that backyard.
Yes, in that backyard.
I mean, they might as well be wearing towels around their necks for capes.
Right. Exactly.
It just they have several times where they just play roughhouse, and a couple of the actors are kind of like, "Isn't this a serious project? I thought I was part of a serious project." No.
But here's the thing: why did Steckler get frustrated? He had a script. I'm assuming he was shooting it. What frustrated him about the way the movie was going? See, that's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know what made him sit there and, like you say, throw his arms up and go, what's hot? Let's do Batman in the middle of the movie that he shot. Because you say it's the closet scene. Up until that point, it's straight. I mean, it's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's nowhere near great detective drama, but it is a detective drama. That's the genre you put it in. What is that? 45 minutes? No, 40 minutes into the film that he suddenly changes tracks and it becomes this farce, this comedy, this spoof of a 66 television series?
I mean, I can only guess that he's like, I need a hook. I want people to wonder what the heck this is and want to go see this movie.
Right.
And they're like, well, Batmania is huge right now. What if I make my own superheroes?
Right.
Really badly.
Oh.
You know, I mean, I can imagine him being a really hardcore fan of watching the show that first season.
True.
You know, and it's like, hey, well, we don't have a cool car, but in one episode they did have the Bat Cycle with the sidecar, and I know somebody with the sidecar cycle. We can just go down to Goodwill and pick up whatever the hell we find and throw it on Ronnie and Titus and see what sticks. Honey, I need my Letterman jacket. I need you to take the R off of it and put it onto this sweatshirt. So, and that B on Titus's chest, that's what it probably was. I mean, that double-breasted shirt that he wears, that was probably a band uniform shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, it looks like hell. It looks like he fell into a pile of laundry and came out with it super glued to him.
Oh, God.
So,
okay,
your own question to you, John, before you ask me. This or Nora Clavicle?
See, I that's the tough one because I'm picking moments from this movie and saying, yeah, based on the moments, I'd give it another chance. I think I would still say this one over Nora Clavicle, to be honest with you. I know that sounds crazy for some, but I think I would because there's nothing in any way remotely charming about Nora Clavicle, whereas this at least has something that you're like, okay, that's cute and okay. And I think even one or two of Ron's songs are bearable enough.
Yeah. I mean, I do like Go Go Party.
Yeah.
And I Stand Alone is so bizarre in its placement that I get a kick out of it.
Right.
But, yeah, I would have to go with this over Nora Clavicle, even though both of them had, I think, the same budget. That doesn't speak well for Batman, folks.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Well, you figure it's probably the same thing. It's like, we're going to do this and we're going to have them go out to the docks and we're going to have all these mice. And then somebody came along and went, Mr. Dozier, this is how much is left in the piggy bank, and shook the thing. So he went, see those cardboard boxes over there? I want you to draw some buildings and get the sound effects of water splashing because we're about to make it look like a dock scene.
Okay. Well, probably just all those little rubber mice pet toys is what set them over budget.
Probably. I can't imagine that being in any prop department.
Anyways, Electro Woman and Diner Girl had better production value than that episode.
True. That's true.
So, anyways, but yeah, I'm the same. I would have to say probably Pfink A Boo Boo over Nora.
No, this was definitely unique. There are other movies that we've watched so far that I would come back to before this one. I'll say that. Much sooner I would return to them. But I wouldn't dismiss this one out of hand if somebody said, hey, and I'd be like, all right, you want to see how, sometimes people go with the best of intentions possibly, and then suddenly you get this or something. I don't know. And that's the killer. I mean, are there any works that were written about Steckler's movies?
There's some books out there, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to.
About his career, yeah.
I've got to find them then because I need to know more about what drove him to this point to do this other than the whole idea. See, like, I could see if he said, I'm cashing in on Batman, let's make a Batman spoof movie, boom, and off we go. I get that. And it's like hit or miss. You didn't get it. You don't understand. But you were making, it's like, I'm going to make a documentary on, the slave trade. And then suddenly it becomes an alien abduction movie. I mean, it's like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was playing with a full deck. I mean, he did have a guy walking around Hollywood carrying his guitar in case he was called upon to play it. Here's a question for you. This or Wild Wild World of Batwoman?
You know something? I would do this before Batwoman. Batwoman was rough. That was a rough one to get through. It was even rough to talk about a little bit. I got it. Thank God I had good company, but it was even tough to talk about. I think I would do this one before Batwoman again. Because Batwoman was more earnest.
No, Batwoman. No, not Mexican Batwoman. Batwoman was fun.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Mexican Batwoman is better than this. No, Wild Wild World of Batwoman, because Wild Wild World of Batwoman was an earnest attempt to cash in on Batman, whereas this thing is just so off the wall nuts that it's like we just did a complete bat turn 180 degrees, hold tight, Robin, we're going in. I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, folks, I think I can safely say me and John think it was unique, and it's got some fun stuff to it.
Yeah. Take a look. And you can find it on archive.org. Plus, also, I'll have put up a copy in the Facebook page if you want to take a look. Now, before we announce what we're going to do for the next episode, Robert, how are things going over at the Facebook group?
Not too shabby. People have been posting a lot of pictures of their own little Batmobiles. I don't know if you've noticed that lately.
Oh yeah,
John. Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of projects that I'm trying to do. I mean, one is I'm doing a 9th scale Batmobile paper sculpture. Yeah, that's so that those figure model toy figures, I forget what they're called, but the 8-inch tall action figures can sit in it. So yeah, that sucker's 26 inches long. So
wow.
Well, I don't know of any bat cave I know of that it's going to fit. So that's one thing, and I'm going to be documenting how I put that together. And the other one is something that you saw that I'm working on, and that's those little standees.
Yes,
Batman standees.
Those are nice.
Thank you. Yeah,
no,
I need to put together one that's a little bit better than my first attempt. I didn't get the little slots, cut as good as they could have.
Okay.
And everyone's like, well, it looks a little crinkled. And it's like, well, that was my mistake. It's not the mistake of the art. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's very reminiscent of those big Batman treasuries you could get back in the 70s. And on the back, it would have a tabletop standee that you could cut out.
Yes. Yeah.
So, which I stupidly did, and then realized that on the inside it actually had photos of the villains from the Batman TV show, which I would have rather have had.
Right.
Needless to say, 40 years later, I've picked up another copy.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so things are going great. Stop by. It's the 1966-1968 television Batman. I am letting people join, and it's a great group of people. And John is always welcome to post stuff there because he's a great guy. Now, you saw that I cleaned up that photo that I did that you had posted the other day.
So that's the original, but you cleaned it up.
Yeah, I took it into Photoshop, and please feel free to post that on my page because that's a different shot from the usual publicity shot of that photo shoot, so to speak.
Right. What Robert's talking about is that I had posted for one of the newspapers a publicity picture from the Batman movie with Burt and Adam and the 4 villains, and they're in this great pose, and it looks like they're in the submarine. And I thought you had just found a better picture. I didn't realize, because you did a great job cleaning it up, because you can see the expressions on the villains a lot better. In particular, Frank Gorshin. I loved that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I posted it right back to your page, because I wasn't going to take credit for something that was in your possession.
Oh,
that's
thank
why
you.
I didn't post it on mine.
But I don't look at it, see, because I love this. I don't look at that as my possession, because I got it from newspapers.com, where they've got like this archive of, newspapers and stuff. And that's what I've been doing, is sort of like finding material as I sort of relive again the journey of the 66 series, but through newspaper clippings and things. Because I see people do that. They'll find magazine, such things, scan them, and then plaster their name all over it, so to make sure that, everybody knows it's theirs. And it's like, well, no, it's actually the magazine's. I'm just sharing. I don't, anybody that wants to, just take it. It's because it's there anyway. If anything, and that's why you should have said something, because when we do post it then on your page, I'm going to make sure everybody knows you clean that up, and that's a better print than what I have, because it's beautiful the way you've got. I just was like, oh, he found a better one, because I get sometimes that someone will post the exact same picture and go, this one was better when it was published here, and I'm like, okay. So I thought that's what you had done.
Yep, you heard it from me. I just took what John had posted and I cleaned it up, because it was a great photo, and I'm gonna share it tonight, or you can share it tonight. It doesn't matter to me, John.
Either way, we'll get it up there though, definitely.
And I have to agree. What's great about going through those old newspapers and stuff is that you get to see shots that you don't get to see these days. You see, all the stock photos that you always see over and over again. But back then, they had a little bit of creativity with what was sent out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And just in some cases, some of these things didn't survive or have been lost for some time. And then, as I say, you've got this thing called newspapers.com that have been collecting these papers and scanning them and preserving them online, so that, as I've been doing, just going through the papers and finding things. Oh, there's Batman. Oh, look, there's something with Adam, like when Adam got sick during the first season. There's a piece there about him. He was out for a few days with the flu and in the hospital and everything because of it. And then I realize when you listen to his voice in some of the episodes, he does sound a little, hoarse, a little more rough in the voice. And that's why, because he had been sick with the flu.
That had to have played hell on that particular episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I'm glad that you found that, because I myself am going to go to newspaper. What is it? Newspaper.com?
Newspapers. Yeah. Newspapers.
Yes, because in my own hometown, when Bert came with the Batmobile, they did a front page spread of him in full color. And I don't have a copy of it, so now I've got to look that up.
Well, here's the thing, because it's all black and white. They don't preserve any of the color stuff, which is a shame. They saved it all as black and white. One would hope they still have the originals, that maybe someday they'll do it in color. And just the other thing to warn you, because it's been a while since, when you go on, it's a paid subscription if you want like full access to everything. I think they limit you if you just go on, in terms of,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's been a while, because I subscribed over a year ago, because I'm using this to do, like I say, the journalistic path of Batman, as well as the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman, Shazam and Isis, and now the Super Friends as well, because I have a Super Friends podcast. So I figured I might as well just pay for the subscription. It's not too expensive. I forget what it is, but I paid for the year, so...
well, you really should get a hobby, John. You don't have enough to do.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, what's the one thing that we've got to look forward to, hopefully later this summer, is our good friend Jim Beard.
Yes.
I can't wait.
And I can't remember the exact title now, but it'll be the first of 3 volumes with critical essays on each of the episodes of the series. In the first season, one is coming out this summer with an essay by me and artwork by you.
I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun to check it out. His last book was fantastic.
Yeah.
14 Miles of Batcave. Or 14 Miles of Gotham, was it?
Gotham City, 14 miles. Yep. Gotham City, 14 miles. I've been poking at him, trying to find out if he can send me, because he's letting me, reveal now that I'm the one who has written the False Face essay, and he has False Face art. So I'm like, come on, let me see it. And he's like, no, not yet.
Oh gosh, no, that's great. That I'm so glad you got that one because that was such a fantastic episode.
It was. And I really did it from the point of, it's basically from the point of view of, because, False Face, he was hidden. And yes, in the end, we all learn who False Face is as fans and such. But back in the day, the way it was all promoted and pushed, it was more about Blaze, and the actress who played her was actually more well known than Malachi Throne. So I get into all of that. And again, thanks to newspapers.com for a lot of the research I did into the essay. So,
I can't wait. That's fantastic.
Yep.
So, John, what are we going to watch next time?
Okay, so next time, we've been talking about this. I think we've been kind of avoiding it after our first encounter with the Philippine versions of Batman, but we're going to go back to the Philippines for the 1980s. It's a color Batman with Robin, Joker, Penguin, and did you say Riddler's in this too?
Not Riddler, but I hate to say it, isn't Spider-Man in this?
I think he is in this Spider-Man. I think you're right. I think he does make an appearance. Plus, we get some musical numbers as well.
Yeah.
But this is going to be another fun one because it's not in English except for some of the songs where there's moments that they sing certain lines in English.
Yeah, it's this is going to be an experience. And at the end of this, John, we really should do like a tally of best to worst.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. Definitely we will. Absolutely.
Because, I mean, as I was saying, ironically, Turkish Batman is towards the top.
Turkish Batman and Mexican Batwoman are towards the top.
Right. So, but no, this has been a blast, sir.
And for me as well. So stay tuned, folks, because, again, the summer of Batman continues here with our weekly programs as we take a look at those shows from the 70s that in one way or another either are Batman direct or Batman related, and you'll find all those in the feed. So until next time, folks, thank you so much for listening once again. Robert, thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll talk to you soon. Take care, citizens. Thanks for listening, chums. I don't have a bat phone, but you can contact the Batcave Podcast through its Facebook page, Twitter, email at thebatcavepodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the podcast via Libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com. Or through iTunes. The Batcave Podcast is part of a series of pop culture podcasts from the Chronic Rift Network. Find them at chronicrift.com. So until next time, citizens, same bat time, same Batcave Podcast.